All right, we're going to demonstrate education on our new monitor here. Okay.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name's Chuck with Masimo. I'm going to go over the Masimo Red 97 with non-invasive blood pressure. So just to show you guys, it will have, as far as parameters go, we have SpO2, we have pulse rate, a parameter which I'll cover in just a minute that we call perfusion index. But just to go over the basic functionality of the device, you guys are familiar with the SpO2 pleth waveform. So if you're looking up here, I've got my finger sensor on here. Just from an application perspective, I have to tell you guys that we generally recommend either the ring or middle finger of the non-dominant hand. Obvious reasons, it's just more intrusive to the patient if it's on the index finger as they eat and drink throughout the course of the day, so on and so forth, okay? But when you're looking for confidence in your signal for SpO2, typically we're taught in respiratory nursing school that if you have a nice even pleth waveform, tall white spikes, that's when you know how to trust your saturation percentage, right? It's not so much the case with Masimo. Masimo technology can read through motion and low perfusion. So yes, if you have a nice clean pleth waveform, that is a great indicator. But on top of that, if you're looking right beneath the pleth waveform at those little white spikes, each one of those white spikes represents a pulse beat. And if you think about bars on your cell phone, the taller the white spikes, the better signal quality that you have, okay? In addition to that, we have a parameter here that we call PI. And just to show you guys, this is a touchscreen monitor. You can move things around just like apps on your cell phone. So if you click and hold it, you can drag that up into the window here. If my finger works. Sorry. Drag this one down. Pull this one up. Okay. So PI stands for perfusion index. Okay. It's a number or a value that can range anywhere from 0.02 as high as 20. We typically say that if your perfusion level is greater than 1, you have good perfusion at that site, okay? What I'm not trying to say is that if your perfusion is less than 1, that you can't trust your saturation score. You actually can. It's just more or less an indication that maybe your patient has lower than normal perfusion at that site. Maybe they have a titch of Raynaud's. What's that?
If you want to use me as the example, you
can.
Oh,
it's fine. They could have a titch of Raynaud's, they could have a lower ejection fraction, poor cardiac output, so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see I'm actually below 1 right now, but I'm kind of animated and I'm talking to you guys, right? So what you can do on a challenging patient if you're experiencing SpO2 dropouts, okay? And just to show you guys, you can see the SpO2 value. It's no longer bright white, it's actually a light gray color. Light gray means we're starting to lose confidence in the signal but haven't lost complete confidence. So if you have a patient like me, we actually offer what we call sensitivity settings for our SpO2. There's actually 3. And the way you adjust it, you can see in the top right-hand corner, we always default our monitors to what we call norm, which is our middle sensitivity. In order to adjust it, there's a little caret there. The third box over, you'll see what we call APOD, norm, and max. APOD stands for adaptive probe-off detection. It's a mode specifically designed for that of an OR. You guys aren't going to use that.
Would you put the light?
Sure.
I'm getting the glare.
That better?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, on a challenging patient like myself, what you can do, whatever's highlighted in blue is the current setting you're in. So if I wanted to, I can make our device or switch it to what we call max sensitivity. Max sensitivity makes this device look 10 times harder for that light source for an SpO2 setting, okay? Make sense? All right, so I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but at the top of the monitors, and I'm gonna switch it back just so you guys can see how it's a light blue background where it says adult, and additionally over here on the power button, it's a light blue square. That's what we call a profile. Profiles are our way of defaulting the settings for the monitor. Defaults meaning your alarm settings for SpO2, your default is 88%, okay? For pulse rate, let me pull that back up so you guys can see it. For pulse rate, your low is 50, your high is 140, okay? To make an adjustment on any of the parameters, you just touch on the parameter that you want to change. So for pulse rate, let's just say, you touch on the parameter, you go into the alarms menu. There's 2 ways to make the adjustment. You can use the scrolling bars. I often find that the numbers change a little bit too quickly for myself. I like using what we call the Price is Right wheel over here. It's just a button push, and then you can scroll it down, you can scroll it up to whatever you need to change it to, okay? Now, because I'm making a change away from the system default, I click OK. I go back to the home setting, and you'll see that the light blue background has now changed. That's just more or less a visual indicator to each of you as you're working on your patients that someone made an adjustment away from the monitor default, okay? So if you were working on the patient and you came in and you saw the light blue background disappeared, it could have been another physician, it could have been another nurse, an RT perhaps, whoever. If you couldn't put your finger on exactly what was changed, please feel comfortable. You can touch on the profile itself. You can see how there's a little asterisk next to the adult profile indicating that someone made an adjustment. You can touch there, put it back to the standard adult, say okay, and you'll see that the light blue background is now back.
Or if you shut it off, we turn it back on again.
Exactly. Okay. Just to show you the buttons at the top of the menu here, the only other icon that you're going to be utilizing is this little speaker button up there. This is where your alarm volume is. Now I will tell you, when I came here today, the alarm volume was all the way at the very top. We don't like doing that. Obviously it's annoying to your patients and annoying to you guys and just overall unnecessary. So as a default, we always put it down to a level 1. They are on the quieter side. If you guys find that they're not loud enough, please let us know. We'll come back in and make the adjustment, or you can make the adjustment on a patient by patient basis, okay? Additionally, there are pulse tones available on the monitors. We typically default these to off because they're just unnecessary and annoying. However, if you guys ever have a code blue, a rapid response, anesthesia were present, sometimes they like having the pulse tones going in the background just so they can hear that the patient's doing okay. But like I said, they're defaulted to off, okay? Going back to the home screen again. Typically I would ask you guys if you have questions, but no one's here. So at the bottom is your blood pressure. Blood pressure plugs in on the left-hand side of the device. You guys were already using this. But international sign to cycle a BP is just a man with a cuff on the arm. It will highlight blue, showing you that it's running an active BP, but because I don't have myself hooked up, I'm just gonna cancel that out, okay? After the cycle runs, you'll get your blood pressure reading here, your MAP, and your pulse rate associated with the BP as well.
This creates an issue.
Okay.